Welcome back to another episode of the Innovate On Purpose podcast, hosted by Matt Mueller,
best-selling author of The Mindful Innovator and Rethink Retail's top retail expert.
We can help retail leaders find clarity so they can grow their businesses purposefully.
We will uncover mindful tips, innovative solutions, and purposeful leadership advice and strategies that you can apply immediately to your retail innovation. Are you ready to innovate on purpose?
Hey, before we jump into the episode today, I just wanted to say thank you for hitting the play button. You being here fires me up, and I cannot wait to share with you the insights that are going to make a difference in your business. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and leave a review so I can reach as many retail leaders as possible. They too need to hear this. Okay, let's do it. Hello and welcome back to Innovate On Purpose, the podcast here where we talk to mindful innovators all around the globe in the retail and CPG space. And today is a really interesting topic that we're going to cover. When we think about innovation, we think about trailblazing and being disruptors. And mostly I talk about that's not really the case, right? It's about those little incremental changes that you can make that's going to have an impact on your business. But there is disruptive innovation and trailblazing that is absolutely necessary to inspire the rest of the globe and to really help push channels and categories to new heights. One category that has really been amazing to see the growth in over the last decade or two has been beverage. Beverage, things are changing, and functional beverage has been absolutely a beast in the category, growing year over year, mostly towards energy, but we are seeing other functional beverages show up. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Parker Jackson, and he is the CEO and founder of Liberty in a Can. This is a brand that is trailblazing with America's THC seltzer. I have a hard time saying that word, so I apologize if I say it with my New York accent a little bit off, but THC seltzer brand, which is a dynamic lifestyle brand that is revolutionizing the beverage industry with federally legal, zero-calorie, ultra-fast-acting THC seltzers. And he's a proud champion of cannabis through community engagement, premium product standards, and a commitment to enhancing consumer experiences across North America and beyond. Parker, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Matt. I was looking forward to this conversation as I have been ever since I've met you. So excited to get into it and see what we can learn.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about this conversation. I know we've been talking now for a couple of months, and I think it was awesome just the way that we kind of connected through the University of Tampa. I'm a coach and volunteer at that University of Tampa, and you are in the same platform that I was in, and we're able to kind of connect through there and just have a conversation about beverage. And it's been awesome to be able to learn from you and really inspirational stuff, man, where it's like, I look to you as like, wow, you're doing really cool things in the beverage space, and you truly are a trailblazer. So hats off to you, man.
Thank you so much, Matt. I really appreciate that. I mean, I spoke to you again from our first conversation and I mean this, so it's nice to know that I'm some level of inspiration, because from that initial conversation, I was definitely, motivated, inspired by kind of your emphasis on just, innovation and, all of the progress that you've made and the people that you've touched along the way. And so I'm excited to kind of be within your network and have fallen into that through our alma mater of University of Tampa. So yeah, I was just reaching out, knowing that I was starting this business and knowing we needed help and that there was a great network that I could tap into. So I'm so glad that we were connected.
Me as well. So for everyone that's listening right now, tell them, what is the business? Tell us a little bit about the business.
So it was founded on that principle that cannabis is a humanitarian crisis. We're denying access to potential, therapeutic means and, ways of healing basically across the world. So accessibility is our North Star. With that, of course, something that's truly premium and something that people can trust, and thankfully we've come across a new form factor in cannabis that allows us to deliver what we view as the most safe and truly exciting way to experience cannabis. So something that a lot of people can, innately trust and confidently try, as you only have to have a sip instead of a puff, in the form of a ready to drink hemp-derived THC seltzer.
It's such a cool concept. You don't really think about drinking your cannabis. So it's just like, it is a completely different way of thinking about experiencing that product. But it's also a very interesting way to think about beverage. And, we talk about, alcoholic beverages and kind of like what that space is looking like and how it's kind of morphing, where we have like these new seltzers coming into play, White Claw and the full variety there. But just thinking about, switching that out from, just no alcohol. People are moving away from that. They're going to non-alc solutions and saying, hey, I'm going to have like these cocktail beverages that are just virgins, to now all of a sudden having another option here, which is, a THC derived beverage, which is totally new to the space. So how did you like first come up with the idea? So I understand like you wanted to make cannabis more accessible. This is a new way to do that. But like, did it come in a dream? Like, how did this come up?
Yeah, definitely, a level of luck, right? I mean, you hear about that from, I feel like, most people that come across an idea. There was an innate desire to start something within cannabis. And we knew that because of the hemp market, we had the ability to do so readily and in a way that we could truly scale. So paired with kind of just our research into what products were already out there, what we felt like was really new and different, but really here to stay, that guided us. And again, the luck factor of just literally Reddit threads with maybe, a dozen upvotes, or, my best friend and co-founder who I started this with, one of Josh, alongside our other very close friend, Magnus. I was living in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the time, which had just started to explode with these beverages. And along his way to work every day at the Volkswagen factory, he would pass by one of these white label emulsifier companies that now we're proud to be partners with, which is Landrace Bioscience. And as we got closer with them, literally by just stopping by in the office, telling them what we were thinking, what our vision was, what we wanted this brand to look like, they became really excited. And we got to know each other, and it just ended up making a ton of sense beyond just, the people, but really that the center, the piece of it that allows all this to be done, which is that technology. We have the best patented cannabis drug delivery system, as far as I know, on the market for beverage. And this applies to other things like topicals. There's a lot that can be done with this, but we feel like, and they felt like, we were the perfect partner to help them with this, scaled hemp beverage side of things, and to really, advocate for the use and potential of, these new cannabis products. I mean, this is just not the standard 2018 edible experience that many are used to. This is not the maybe harsh smoking experience with inhalation. This really does avoid many, if not all, of the common pitfalls associated with, cannabis use that would, make someone weary to try. And, another reason behind that is the product testing and the standards, the COAs. We found a partner through Landrace that we could trust, that was operating under FDA standards, GMP certified. There's someone that we feel like we can invest into for the, decades to come. And that will allow us, again, to kind of realize our dream, our North Star, providing access to cannabis, beyond North America, increasing these supply chains internationally that need to happen, and pushing towards, real, true clinical evidence and research around the efficacy and the titration for all of this. We're so excited about the potential that cannabis represents, but also our partnership with Landrace Bioscience and their shared vision with us to make this product a reality.
That's awesome, Parker. Like, the passion, it just kind of exudes out of you. Like, it just, you are so passionate about this. Like, and I know you want to make it more accessible and more access to cannabis, but like, why are you so passionate about this?
I think it really is that new social paradigm that people talk about, that idea of the world should be closer, no matter how far. The internet, thankfully, has opened a lot of doors and provided for an amazing moment like we're on right now, Matt. It's just, I think that love and that connection is what needs to be spread. And that comes about in some fantastic ways. When you have that kind of, it's not like cannabis gives you, the ability to be social or anything like that, but this low milligram dose is very intentionally associable dose. It's something that's very welcomed. It's something that, I could introduce to my own mother, for instance, right? She'd never tried cannabis before. I couldn't imagine giving her an edible or, having her inhale some, hot smoke. So again, this is what hit me on the head of once we had this product and it works so dang well is, it works for so many people. And, so we've had people along all, senses of the aisle of, there's people that haven't smoked or, drinking alcohol in 40 years. And now they love my product and they're going to the liquor store to buy 6-packs of it for their friends. And that's just amazing. It provided that kind of feeling of just relaxation that, that they're kind of looking for, and that not escapism, right? But they want to feel it. And that's important when we talk about some of these non-alcoholic options. It has to come with that taste and it has to come with that great feeling. And thankfully we can stand on both of those. So we have something that is just a great taste, great feeling. And, that's paired with just the constituents as well. We have 0 calories, 0 sugar. This is really 0 sweeteners. This is a refreshing kind of welcome buzz that is something that you can confidently share. And I say that because, again, the 40 to, we have 50-year-olds that also have never smoked, and now they're trying these drinks and loving them and ordering them online from us repeatedly. And now we have 6-year-olds that have been smoking for that long, right? And they are still buying cases of this. So there's really hasn't been, and this is what we need to do a better job of, right, is picking that demographic, that core customer, that target, because so many people have been enjoying it. And you really get people, as you start bringing it to parties or just talking about the idea of it, coming out from the woodwork and celebrating what you're doing. And that we're so proud of that, because that motivates us every step of the way. Liberty in a Can is inherently, it's that freedom party. Everyone is invited to celebrate the moments, to share that pursuit of happiness that we're all innately after. That is what is supposed to be. It's the rebranding of liberty into a freedom party. It's silly that, we may look at, how, an American flag and think you're falling on one side of the political spectrum. There really needs to be a lot more room for conversation, dialogue. And so that's where I think that stems from love. And that's where cannabis is going to be able to provide a lot more of that, ability to do that. I mean, I think we look at some of these settings that alcohol is so dominant in right now. And that's where I see the opportunity to come about, is these people that don't, want to drink, but can still be included socially. Just creating more spaces for people to celebrate moments together is really, like, that's what it comes down to. And that's where we want, our branding to be so clear, and our investments is that we're making that happen. And our drinks is just, a part of that.
And I think you got a tagline right there too. It's like, it's so good and safe, you'll give it to your mother. Yeah, that was a great story. I'm glad you shared it, because I was going to ask about it later. It was just like so funny. Like, well, your mom has never had it before, and now it's like you're giving her a can of a Liberty in the Can, and it's just and she's all in. It's just so cool to hear that.
It is. It's amazing. I mean, you're right. It brings a smile to my face every time I think of it. So
yeah. But yeah, so you definitely have a huge challenge in front of you, where it's like, you got to think about, how do you actually meet the market? And being a trailblazer is never easy, because it's you're kind of figuring it out, and you're feeling around in the dark to say, okay, what is my target? Who is my segmentation I'm going to go after? And is it the 50 to 60-year-olds, or is it like the 20-year-olds in college that are having a spring break party? The answer could be yes. But like, how do you, exactly target the right audience? And then what is the right messaging for that audience? Because then again, it could be, it could be socialization and having a good time without alcohol, or it could be, the health benefits of cannabis. So there's, different angles you could take there. I guess, how have you navigated that space since you started Liberty in a Can?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just, tweaking. We're so big, we're only so big right now, and recognize that resources are limited, especially capital, but it's thinking about doing what you can do and, doubling down on what works. And, we have a lot of room to grow in that sense, but we know a big part of it is honing our messaging. There's a lot of, thankfully, USPs I think we can lean on that stand us out. but making sure that, that's just getting delivered to everyone and they understand. And I think that's a big part of kind of the education that we're looking to bring to our consumers in general, especially people that are, a lot of people that are coming to our brand are new to cannabis. They're curious about cannabis, and maybe they're curious about just drinking a little less. That's a big part of it. So the education on, the how to do this, the why we're different, that patented technology, I love to brag about. We have the quickest onset that I know of right now in the market that also provides the most kind of consistent and stable dosing. I mean, this is, again, we talk about that new, better experience compared to the cannabis gummies or even beverages that a lot of people are used to since that 2018 changing of legality. But we believe what we have just truly the most powerful and versatile lipid solubility technology on the market. And that just provides that consistency in every can, that rapid onset with the bell curve. Feel it quickly. It's going to steady rise to peak with a smooth ride down. That predictability ensures a consistent and reliable experience, which allows for that accurate dosage and minimize side effects and just overall improved outcomes, which is just something that's so important when we think about some of the standard smoking or edible experience that so many people have been turned off to. So maybe we're attracting more of that Canna Curious crowd that's tried and they've been burned. So, here we are providing something that's like they can return to again and again. And that flavor, that taste, that feeling is going to be the same every time. And that's something we can brag about as well. And just how, that lipid-based technology, it's not being absorbed through your fat like a standard edible. So the deliverability is that quick and it is that standardized. So you could be, 100 pounds or 300 pounds. It doesn't matter. It's just how your body reacts to 5 milligrams of THC delivered in this way. So edible is going to be a different kind of experience entirely. Another thing we can lean on with our messaging is that live resin THC. We use a much more premium input than what you're going to see for the most part in the market compared to a standard THC distillate. And this is something that as the market matures and people understand and they consume this product, right, that liquid to lips actually experiencing why we're better, it's going to stand out. So that live resin, it's known for its high potency. It just contains a higher concentration of THC and other cannabinoids, offering that more powerful effect. It's really unique in that rich terpene profile that comes about also brings a supreme level of like flavonoids and terpenoids, that nuanced flavor that kind of provides depth to just our our aromatics of the can, and really just contributes to that overall better high. I mean, there's, medicinal and therapeutic potential that we recognize. The overall effectiveness of all of this is much more increased when we have cannabinoids working in tandem with the THC. So, whether they're a cannabis connoisseur or someone that's new to the scene, they're going to very quickly recognize the quality difference between our beverage and another just because of that premium input to get.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like you mentioned, like the gummy too. Like it's completely different type of delivery where a gummy you're ingesting 5 milligrams at one shot with a gummy to where you're drinking it, sipping it, so it's almost like microdosing in a way, right? So it's like it's a really interesting way to take in the 5 milligrams because it does kind of level out that high and give you that good functional feeling, right? So it's just pretty unique experience for sure. And full disclosure, I had it for the first time this weekend and it was a great product. So it was so totally I am bought in, Parker. Just really great product, really nice just feeling from it, and one can of it, and it made my Sunday much more relaxed and chill, and it took my headache away. So I was super happy about it.
That makes me happy to hear. That made my Sunday when I got that text back and he told me you're enjoying it. So
yeah, and and the watermelon flavor was on point. So I haven't had to try the lime yet, but I had the watermelon.
But yeah, excellent. I think what's interesting too when we talk about the customer and like our target demographic, and we have a lot more room to be specific. But I think there's an opportunity right now where a lot of people are focusing on that newer gen, the people that are being very health conscious, and maybe want to savor their sips like that wine mom category, so to speak. But with how we know just how many people just drink drinks, there's such a bigger availability here. And I think a lot of the studies that, you've seen positivity around the THC, kind of taking away from some of the alcohol consumption, almost that being parallel, right? Where as one's going up, the other's going mixed with these just raising, I guess I'm rambling off now, but what I'm trying to say really is around the different demographics, like that Bud Light crowd and that Wine Mom crowd. There's a huge middle ground there, and there's no reason we can't capture both right now. It's about our
Absolutely.
messaging and how we do that. So, we appeal to all those sides, and we've seen it, people through the flavor, through the effects, and most importantly, through that branding that people need to be able to kind of, resonate with and adapt with and just make their own. So that's something we're trying to be intentional with as we kind of grow to these different markets, is how we can kind of provide that, that avenue so that people can make it their own.
Yeah. And you mentioned something before too that was really interesting to me, which was the Canna Curious, which, we have the sober curious category that's really there, but you have the cannabis curious people as well. And you said that a lot of the people that are trying your product are not cannabis users, which is so intriguing to me. Like, I would not think the first experience you would have with cannabis would be drinking. I'm curious to understand your perspective on that. Like, why are you seeing that? Why are we seeing people that have never had cannabis before picking up Liberty in a can?
I think a lot of it is just like the overall acceptance, right? The stigmatisms, the kind of not knowing what it does, and therefore like having fear around that, and that being very quickly kind of shared. It's interesting to think about where our actual initial launch was in Madison, Indiana. I mean, this was a town of 12,000 people that on the race weekend where we were for the hydroplane racing, they saw a crowd of well over 30,000. And, we were extremely proud to have sold 1,000 cans to that crowd. And we brought a little more than that, but god dang, were we proud to have sold that amount of cans for our first few hours on the ground. And you had the overwhelming amount of people that just didn't know, hey, this was a thing, right? And you talk to people, and most people aren't going to know it's a thing. And it's surprising, despite some of the numbers you may hear these other new brands brag about, but it just goes to show how small it really is right now. And I say that because in comparison, that was July 4th. In the beginning of August, I went over to the San Diego Bay Fair for another hydroplane race, a similar weekend, 3 days, but they had a population of 70,000 people. Or, I mean, apologies. That's how many the race weekend saw. But the actual town is like over 1 million people. But the awareness levels was like the exact same. So there was, only maybe 2 people that really were, could shout out another brand and were like, oh, I tried this. And so the overall, though, acceptance and welcoming of it was also certainly the same. So people were pumped to share it, tell their friends about it, come back, figure out how they could, fit a 24 pack on their bike home. It was absolutely hilarious. And we saw that, in a what you deem as a much more mature market, San Diego, California versus Madison, Indiana. But again, I think it just goes to show the potential, because a lot of people just didn't know about it, and most people are just thrilled.
Yeah. Awesome. It's like, what's next for Liberty in a Can? Like, what is like your path look like? So currently it seems like you're getting some great acceptance. You're doing these events. What are you focused on right now to advance the company forward?
Yeah, I think it's little things, but it all revolves around scale, right? So, wholesale is extremely important to us right now. We're thankful to be having some great proactive and fruitful, let's call it, discussions. It's a matter of kind of finalizing some of those agreements and making sure that we follow up on, all those promises that I'm making around us, dominating those markets and just being the best supporter and partner that they could ask for. We're the people that, and this is what we tell everyone. So it's the same message. We're the people that are going to be relentless in growing this category. And if you want to partner in doing that, to be thoughtful, and you need to speak with us. So that's the perspective we're taking. And thankfully, as people have been thinking about this for a while, and now the legislature's opening up that we can do this in a lot of places at that scale, it's just a matter of time. So, I'm amazed by some of the big names that we've talked to recently that, I would have couldn't really fathom before, without even maybe thinking about spending thousands and thousands of dollars just to get my email read. But meanwhile, we're in the room with them. They're telling us, hey, I think this is a winner. This could be a household name. I love the taste. I love the feel. And that's just, that gives us the confidence, obviously, to to do all of this. I mean, we're immensely appreciative of the opportunity, again, using that word luck from before. And now we just need to continue to find the right partners and people that share that vision.
Yeah, I don't know if luck is the right word. It's almost like these synchronicities that kind of come into play. Like you mentioned, like in Chattanooga, just being near the emulsifying plant. Like, where do you see emulsifying plants around? It was just like in the perfect place, perfect time. And you guys just walked in the door and mentioned that, hey, this is what we're thinking. And boom, you have a partnership. So I feel like everything kind of happens for a reason. It's so cool.
My gosh. I thank you so much. I think, yeah, you have to kind of like accept almost that, hey, this is, my passion stems from that. Like, this is our purpose. Like, we have to do this. And yeah, that word luck, yeah, that came from the desire to do something like this to begin with. So for sure.
Yeah. So I want you to leave everyone here with one piece of advice, because other folks, they want to be trailblazers. They want to create something that they can own and just kind of be all behind, like with the same type of passion and veracity that you're going after it. So what would be that one piece of advice that you would say to a person that's starting to trailblaze within their business, within their categories?
I think the way I wanted to say it is like encourage your curiosity. But I think that really goes down to, if you could teach someone a skill, it's to get along with other people. So I would, really just make that great effort, because if you can get along, with, and start with yourself, right? But that's like treating all these conversations like we are, Matt, as an opportunity to educate and uplift one another. And that kind of recognition that nothing's done alone. We are in this together. That's where you're going to find very quickly those people that share that vision, because your authenticity will just ooze. And it's, that's a funny word, but, like that's exactly it. I mean, it will, just come out of you, and it will guide you to do things that you didn't think you were possible of. And so, yeah.
All right, cool. So we got some love, curiosity, and you have to find the oozing point.
Well, I'd say, yeah, you definitely, reach out to people, like just, be so willing to find out what's next and be excited for it.
Yeah, I love that is your answer, because like you don't usually hear that, but it's as simple as getting along with other people. And it's so true. Reach out to people, have conversations, be curious. And if you are coming at it with authenticity and passion, good things are going to happen, because they're going to want to drink the Kool-Aid that you're drinking when they see you so happy. It's just like, it's a no-brainer.
I think so. And that's where I try to, reflect on myself wanting to be a leader and more so a doer, right? Is that energy is infectious. And, when you feel it with others and you feel it within yourself, and when you do recognize that feeling, it's so good. So yeah, more of that.
Yeah. Awesome, Parker. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Where can people find more about you? Where can they find your product? Just give us like a synopsis of how they can reach you and your product.
Yeah, you can reach me right now pretty easily, in the fact that, again, I do love conversations. I am becoming more busy, but my LinkedIn for sure, I'm pretty active on. So Parker Jackson on LinkedIn. Our website will be Drink, LIC, standing for Liberty in a Can, right? drinklic.com. And that's just going to have our socials and just, the beginning of what our brand looks like online. So I think if you are encouraged by any sort of, cool events and the idea of these drinks, definitely please follow us on Instagram. And we're going to be active and doing some more fun stuff soon with YouTube and all that. We're just trying to be entertaining.
Awesome, Parker. Thanks so much. And you can find the links in the show notes, so don't worry about having to remember what Parker said and where to go. Just click on the links in the show notes. And thank you so much for talking to us today about how you can trailblaze in a new category. So thank you, Parker. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Matt. I'm so happy to be connected with you.
Same here.
We have made it to the end of another episode. Thank you for tuning in. A couple of things before you go. If you have found value in this episode, I am sure you'll find value in what we have coming up. So please subscribe so you will have access and know when we launch the next episode. Also, leave a review. The more reviews we have, the further our reach becomes, and I truly want this to be heard by as many leaders as possible. Don't hog this all for yourself. I would love to hear your insights on this topic, so Meet me on social media at Matt Mueller Innovation on LinkedIn and Instagram. And lastly, if you want to learn more about my story and what I can do for you and your company, go to themindfulinnovator.com. I would love to help you innovate on purpose. Until next time, just remember, bring a level of awareness to each conversation, each observation, each moment, and you can create great change in this world. Thank you.